In this excerpt from the Ben and Ryan show, I asked the question, is it okay to roll your own credit card processing? Surprisingly, the answer is, it depends.
In your presentation, you didn't get into credit card numbers, and Ben mentioned the roll your own auth. Should you roll your own credit card processing?
So the short answer is no.
Okay.
The long answer is also no.
If you can avoid it, utilizing an external system like Stripe or any number of other processors that will happily, you just direct the user to PayPal or Stripe or wherever, and they handle the entire checkout process for you. If you have the option to do that, I would recommend doing that because it significantly reduces your compliance scope under the PCI-DSS rules. If you're doing like the old school way, and we still do, where we're taking the number, we've got our own checkout form, it's hosted right as part of our application, and we're taking that credit card number and it's going into memory in our applications, and we're passing it back to an authorization system at our merchant processor. Your requirements under the PCI-DSS go way up because a lot more of your application is in scope to have to maintain security and servers and all the different things that PCI-DSS requires you to do with those. Where if you're using a PayPal or Stripe, a lot of that just goes away. You don't even have to think about it. And so, if you're a small business doing e-commerce or shopping or retail or whatever, definitely just put that on somebody else's platform, let them worry about it. And if you're running stuff internally like we are, keep what they consider the secure information, like the full credit card number and the CVC code and things like that, for the shortest possible period of time. So like in our applications, we take that stuff in, we pass it to the merchant processor, we get our authorization back, and we're done. We don't store the number, we don't encrypt it, we don't store it anywhere, we don't keep the CVC codes because it's not allowed anyway. But even the full card numbers, we just, I have a slide in my presentation that says that you can't steal what you don't have. So if you don't have the card numbers, encrypted or otherwise, it just removes the possibility of somebody exfiltrating that data out of your database. And, if you have weak encryption on it, then going and decrypting it. I was talking to somebody at Summit. I won't name names, but I was talking to somebody there who they take banking information, so routing and account numbers to do ACF withdrawals out of people's accounts. And they have rolled their own encryption for that in the database. And they're just doing a basic XOR against a key. And it's about the weakest security you could have for something like that. And so my recommendation to them was to probably upgrade that to use more strong encryption, like AES with a 256-bit key would do the same thing in a much more secure way, and doesn't really cost them anything to make that change other than just decrypting the values using their existing algorithm that's very weak, and re-encrypting them and putting them back with an open standard algorithm that's very strong. Would add a lot of protection for their users when that data gets exfiltrated. Because when I think about the data and the stuff on my servers, I look at it from the standpoint of when is it going to get stolen? Not if it's going to get stolen, but when. And I assume that it's already out there in the public. If I put this in my database and I get compromised in 10 minutes, how secure is that going to be, and who's going to be able to do something with it? And that's the mindset that I try to have when I'm writing applications.